What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Zedroth Entertainment, and Happy New Year. 2016 is upon us. Let's make it a good one. Now, let's get right into it. I had a video that I was really excited to get uploaded. I had a lot of footage for it, and I was really excited to start editing it and get some music going and just make it a cool little video. And in the process of all that, my SD card corrupted. So welcome to filmmaking. Stuff like that happens. It's really unfortunate. And it really sucks when you're really excited to get something going. But nonetheless, I realized it's been a while since I made a new video. I hadn't done anything for a while. And I'm trying to get more into my channel. It's kind of hard with, life and everything kind of going around. But I really want to try to make 2016 the year that I get really devoted to my channel and start making it more of what I want it to be, and hopefully getting more people interested in it and entertaining people in the process. So I figured what I wanted to do this time is basically just kind of start a little thing, kind of be going every week, where I can pick a movie that I has either influenced my life or that I just really like, and maybe do a little mini review, or just kind of tell you a little bit how it affected me. If you don't know, I went to film school. I have been a major lover of film my whole life. It's something that I've always been passionate for. And I figured that this could be something kind of cool, where it's not very hard to do. It's not very time consuming. The editing is going to be fairly simple. It's hopefully going to be all in one take, and make it something that I can commit to on a regular schedule. So with that being said, with this crazy week of celebrities passing away, it's been actually pretty nuts to the start of 2016. What I wanted to focus on is, I know that David Bowie was known for his music, and he's an icon, like clothing, music. Like, the guy is like amazing. He's acting, let's not forget that as well too. It's sad that he passed away. He definitely, there's something that I'm going to share with you that he had an impact on my life with. It's not maybe anything as big as his music by any means, because his music was absolutely legendary, and there's so many hardcore people out there that, were devastated by his death and what his music meant to them and everything. I never really was a huge David Bowie music lover. It's not something that was always, in my phone or like a CD or a collection or anything like that, except if you're talking about the soundtrack to this. Now, a lot of people know what this is. A lot of people don't know what this is. Let me give you the quick rundown on it. This is a movie called Labyrinth. And to a lot of people, this is what they grew up with, myself included. It is an amazing movie, and David Bowie is the villain in it, if you would say. Is it a kid's movie? Sure, you could say it's a kid's movie. It's, it's puppetry. It's Jim Henson puppet creature shop, but it's dark. It's very dark. And especially when you get older and you watch it today and you watch some of these scenes and you're like, wow, like this was a kid's movie of 1987. And it's pretty crazy to see what they got away with back then. There's a couple scenes in particular I remember watching as a child, and it scared the crap out of me. Maybe it does still. Anyways, so what is The Labyrinth? Labyrinth is a movie from director Jim Henson and the Jim Henson Creature Shop. It came out in 1987, and I basically was introduced to it as a child, probably around, like, I'm going to say maybe around 10, around 10. It's an awesome movie from a filmmaking perspective. If you watch Labyrinth today, you will realize that special effects and all that kind of stuff it didn't exist really back then. Like, you had, your certain effects and stuff like that, of course, but it was more reliant on practical effects and actual things that people could interact with, unlike today, where most people interact with, green screen and, a tennis ball on a stick. The fact that the puppets and everything that you're seeing in the movie is like real life, it was there. Sure, there might be someone hiding behind it with, their hand up their butt or whatever, but when you're watching it, you think that these are real people and real things, and that's the magic of movies. If it can do that and you can take you away to a place and make you think what you're seeing is real, then that movie's done its job, and that's why we like movies. That's what movies are supposed to do. Now, again, going back to the practical effects and everything of this movie, when you watch it, the attention to detail is astounding. There's scenes in this movie where it's just a shot of someone walking down a pathway. For instance, Jennifer Connelly, who was 14 at the time of this movie, which is crazy to think when you like watch her in this movie. It's might be creepy to say, but she's older now, but she's really attractive, and she's a 14-year-old girl in this movie. And David Bowie was already a well-established musician. He's significantly older, but in terms of the plot and what's happening, it's not a big deal. I'm sure in today's world, if that were to happen, some idiot would get on the internet and be like, "This offends me. This chick is 16. He must be a rapist. What's going on? I want to boycott this movie." You know how it is today. Like, people are ridiculous. But in the context of the story, it works because he's this mystical goblin king that basically comes and takes your child if you say a certain word, and he'll come, and if you say a certain line, he'll take it from you and take it back to his castle. And basically the plot is she regrets what she's done, and she wants her baby brother back, so he sends her on this quest through the labyrinth, and she has 13 hours to get through the labyrinth and save her baby, well, her brother. Now, going back to the practical shot, basically it's just someone walking down an alleyway. But if you observe the scenes, which is what I do a lot because I'm a film guy, it's just kind of what I do. I notice certain things that maybe other people don't when they watch a movie. The attention to detail is astounding because you're watching just a shot of walking, and there's rocks and there's walls, and just it could just be a rock, it could just be a wall, a concrete wall, it could just be a rock. But there's tiny little sparkles on everything that make everything pop and flare and just kind of draw your eye to certain things where they don't necessarily need to be there. It's just small things like that that kind of like encapture this universe. Well, yeah, I guess it is a universe, this different world that she's in, this fantasy world that just kind of makes everything more real. And there's little creatures on every single wall. There's little tiny creatures that could just be like there as a prop, but they're actually controlled mechanically, and they have a little movement back and forth. There's a scene where it's just eyes that are watching back and forth as she's walking down this thing. It's maybe for like 3 seconds, but it's just all that kind of stuff that encapsulates what this film does really well. All the puppets, the costumes are incredible. There's actually Hoggle, which is the main character that kind of helps Sarah through the labyrinth, is actually a person inside of a costume. This kind of goes back to another movie, The Ninja Turtles, the first one in 1990. It was people inside of costumes that had robotic headsets that basically were controlled by other people off camera. That basically is what's happening in this film as well, too. So you have basically, a real person walking around doing the actions and not talking, basically relying on the person that's off camera mechanically saying what's supposed to match their movement. So if you put all this kind of stuff together, it's a very, very well crafted film in terms of a filmmaker's perspective. It's very difficult to do this kind of stuff, and much praise should be given to Jim Henson and even his son Brian Henson, who was just starting out at the time, who was doing some of the puppetry work in this film, who would later go on to work with other Muppet movies like Muppet Treasure Island, which is like one of my favorite Muppet movies ever made. That was directed by Brian Henson. So let's get to topic 2, the soundtrack. The soundtrack in this movie is awesome. Like I said, I'm not a huge David Bowie fan. His music that he's known for is what it is. It's awesome for the people who are into it. Wasn't really ever my thing, but song like I hear one of the songs in this thing and I can sing every word. This soundtrack is awesome. I actually have it still. It still bumps in my car from time to time. It's definitely your 80s music for sure. You got the synthesizer in there. Dee, dee, dee. But, I mean, that's the time. That was this movie. And when this movie came out, I'm not too sure if it was a major hit at the time, but over the years, it has become a cult classic, if you would say. Um, so much to the point where it's just kind of stayed with me for so long over the years that we ended up naming our dog after one of the characters in the movie. There's a big giant character named Ludo that Sarah saves, and he's known for his smoke bread, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So this is Ludo. Want to say hi, Ludo? Hi. So this is Ludo. He was a character in the movie. Again, no real significance to the character at all. I just thought it was a really cool name, and it's good for a couple inside jokes with this guy. Some people, when I meet them and I tell them his name, right away they're like, "Oh my god, like the movie Labyrinth." Some people are like, "Oh yeah, what does that mean? Does it mean anything?" And I don't know. So there's also a lot of cool little behind the scenes stuff about this movie as well too. At one point, Michael Jackson was supposed to play the role of Jareth, the Goblin King, which went to David Bowie eventually. But Michael Jackson was huge, and he was no stranger to doing, acting as well. His music videos alone are basically like mini films. They're short films, what he does in them. And he wasn't a bad actor by any means. So he was strongly considered to be the role of the Goblin King in Labyrinth for quite some time. And it basically kind of had a couple of the people like Sting and some other people that were kind of in the runnings for it. And it was actually Jim Henson's daughters that basically said, David Bowie is going to have more standing, more long-term star appeal. And, whether that may be the case or not, I can't picture anyone else in this role. It's not something that, you know how it is. Like, try to picture Indiana Jones as someone other than, Harrison Ford. Or try to picture another major character played by someone else. It's just one of those things that you couldn't imagine anyone else doing it based on what you've seen and how their memory is in your brain. So, and he played it very, very well. He's got that. There's definitely some non-children-esque scenes in this film. I'm sure when parents watched it at the time, they were like, "Oh my God, look at this! That's a Bowie's package," and they wouldn't be wrong because it's definitely in your face multiple times in the movie. I don't know if that was planned strategically, but there it is. Some people are like, "Oh, it's just a suck, man. It's nope." That's all Bowie. So wrapping up, I don't want to make this video too long. I basically just want to start doing this every week. I want to pick a movie and talk about it and just give you my 2 cents on it. And maybe bring your attention to something that you haven't seen that I can get you to watch and you can have a good time, and maybe tell some other people to watch it and experience it for themselves. I don't have any issues doing this. I have a huge movie collection. Movies are my life. I've been, talking to people about them for so long and experiencing, stories with other people and, oh yeah, that scene, and oh yeah, did you see that? And oh, did you hear about, they had trouble with this? And it's very easy. I don't need a script. I don't need anything. I can just sit here and I can talk for hours, honestly, but I don't think anyone would want to sit here and listen to me for that long. Maybe in the future when there's more people that are interested, but in my channel. But, I think Ludo. His rock friends must be near. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and definitely if you haven't seen this movie, watch it. Like I said, it might not be for everybody. Some people don't like puppet movies. Some people don't like movies this old. But in terms of just a fun movie, great soundtrack, a decent story. It's actually got, fairly good story for what it is. The acting is great. David Bowie, I mean, the fact that David Bowie's gone now and you want something to, kind of pay tribute to, and maybe you're listening to his music, and he's got other movies, The Prestige and countless other movies out there, but in terms of him playing a badass role, singing, acting in the same film, I highly recommend checking out this movie. And let me know what you think. And if you have seen it, let me know some of your favorite parts in the movie as well too. Write it in the comments. Quote something. Tell me what your favorite part was. I'd love to hear it. And I have a lot of people that have the same passion as me when it comes to this movie. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have a special place in their heart for this movie as well too. So that's it. Episode 1 of, let's call it Movie Monday, because I'm going to upload this for Monday. So episode 1, Labyrinth. David Bowie, if you're watching this, rest in peace. You've changed a lot of people's lives, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.